Hello and welcome to AV Division USA upgrades for the second development period of the regular season. This will be the final upgrades for some of those teams. Two teams will advance to the playoffs, maybe a third one. It depends on the results of this and the other division. At the same time, the best third place team will advance to the playoffs alongside the top two of each division. So every upgrade certainly matters. Let's start off then with Team Peggy Racing. They're going for one upgrade of each. Speed, grip, acceleration, turbo is the order. With how the speed rolls went earlier on for them, they do not have a chance of making the speed upgrade. However, if they can make progress on it, if they advance to the playoffs, that progress will remain. So what will they roll for the speed? They will roll, oof, only 19 regardless. Quite a low roll to start with. Next up, their grip, they're 44 off. They will roll 40, so once again missing out. And next up, their acceleration, they're 56 off. They will roll 42. It's not a great run of upgrades for Team Peggy Racing. That puts them only to 151. And finally, their turbo, they will roll 73. That is a marked improvement. Gets them at least a double turbo upgrade. Next up, Superman's Racing. They're going for one of each as well in order: speed, acceleration, grip, turbo. So they go for speed for 68 off. Can they get the speed upgrade? No, they cannot. They roll a 33. 115. Next, their acceleration, 43 off. They will roll 39, just missing out by 4. Next, their grip, they are 18 off. They will roll 91 on the grip. That's a great roll for the grip. This to 123, and it is a double grip upgrade for Superman's Racing. Finally, their turbo, 12 off. The next one, they will roll 42 on the turbo. That will be a single turbo upgrade for them. Next, Metale Story. They're going for speed, double acceleration, and turbo. Speed they're 86 off on. Requires a high roll. What will they roll? Only a 3. Quite the opposite of a high roll there. Next, double acceleration, 41 off their first. They roll a 72 to start with. Great start for them. That's an acceleration upgrade. And then they will roll 22 on their second roll. Which means they just miss out on a double acceleration. Finally, for the turbo, they will roll 32, which will get them just a single turbo upgrade. Not a lot of upgrading going around this development period. Next, we've got Shock Motorsports SRT. I believe the winners of the first round. They're going for speed, double grip, then turbo. Speed they're 58 off on. They will roll 79, and they will get the speed upgrade that other teams were looking for. So there's a speed upgrade for them. Next, their first of 2 grip rolls. They will roll 41 on it, which will be enough to secure them a grip upgrade. On the second roll, they are now 25 off the next one. They will roll only 16, so they will miss out on a second grip upgrade. And finally, turbo roll, they're 24 off. They will roll 82 on the turbo. Great roll there. Puts them up to 108 and gets them a double turbo upgrade. So good round of upgrades in general for Shock Motorsports SRT. And finally, NASA Aries, they're going for quadruple acceleration. They got only 2 greps with quadruple grep last time around. Will they be slightly luckier this time around? They were the winners of the second round, if I remember correctly. 22 off their next acceleration. They will roll 35 to start with. 178. That is an acceleration upgrade for them. Second roll, they will roll 73. Just them up to 251. That is another acceleration upgrade for them. They are 49 off the next one. They will roll 40 on the next acceleration, just missing out on a third acceleration and a roll, but they still have that final roll. 9 off. They will roll 28. It will be enough to get triple acceleration for the final 2 rounds. So good stuff there. Let's check out the final grid roundup. Here is the grid roundup then. We've got double turbo for Team Peggy, we've got double grep and a turbo for Supermans, acceleration and turbo for Metallistoria, speed grep and double turbo for SMS or Shock Motorsports, and a triple acceleration for NASA Aries. Highest average goes to Team Peggy Racing, most balanced car goes to Shock Motorsports. Highest speed is Team Peggy and Shock Motorsports, both at level 1. The other teams have level 0. Highest acceleration is NASA Aries with level 5, then Shock Motorsports with level 3. Grep, everyone is in level 2 apart from Shock Motorsports, who are at level 1. Turbo, everyone is at levels 3 to 5 except for NASA Aries, who did not roll for turbo. So that is your grid roundup, and we'll see you for the final 2 rounds later today. Hello and welcome to Apprentice Virtual Division USA, starting off with the Ohio A-Prix in the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course here. Its debut in the virtual leagues. And here we go for 3 minutes of qualifying, of course. Let's take a look at the token spend. Here, as we've got 2 tokens from Greg Akaj of Superman's Racing, Davy Duxis of Metallistory, and Mr. Bubbles of NASA Luna. 1 token each from Private Gamers, El Carlos 13XD, Simgluten, and Pilatos, the winner of the Texan A-Prix, which was the first round, but now we're on to the 3rd round. And this is the first of 2 of the second doubleheader, which will determine which 2 teams advance to the playoffs and whether the 3rd place team does so as well. Mr. Bubbles goes on provisional pole now in our first representative lap. Pilatos currently on the front row, then it's Simgluten, then Greg Akaj. Davy Duxis, despite 2 tokens spent, is currently down in 7th place. Mr. Bubbles rounding the corner will not improve. Kukuma Share improves up to provisional pole. He goes for Team Peggy Racing. Davy Duxis still struggling in this qualifying. Got an improvement for Private Gamers. That's 1st and 3rd for Team Peggy Racing, despite a total of a single token being spent between them. Team Peggy Racing looking real good in this qualifying. See, we're into the final minute of qualifying now. Can Mr. Bubbles regain pole position from the hands of Kukumasher? Oh, he ties Kukumasher's pole position time, but that will not be enough. Kukumasher will take it if Mr. Bubbles cannot improve. Got Greg Akash in 4th, then Pilatos, Simgluten, Davy Duxas, Experio, El Carlos, and Gold Plays currently in 10th. Got 2 more laps left of qualifying. Mr. Bubbles at 25.95, insane. But it's Pilatos who goes on to provisional pole at 25.80. Kukumashare improves to 25.82. Mr. Bubbles, can he get something special on this very final lap here at Mid-Ohio? No, he does not improve. 200ths off his best time. See, El Carlos improving up to 7th. Experio will take that with the same lap time. Let's take a look at the full qualifying results. Here are the full qualifying results. Pilatos will start from pole position. Kukumashare from the front row. Mr. Bubbles starts from 3rd. Private Gamers from 4th. Greg Akash will start from 5th. Simgluten from 6th. Experio starts from 7th. El Carlos 13. XD will start from 8th. David Duke suspending 2 tokens will start only from 9th. And Gold Plays starts from last position. Being said, let's get straight into it. 23 laps here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Here we go. Here we go, and it's a wet start. Track, the weather condition is cloudy, but the track is half wet. We've got only Kukumashare and Greg Kaj starting in the wets. Everyone else on the entered tires. And heavy rain coming in soon. Great news for Kukumashare and Greg Kaj. Mr. Bubbles gets past Kukumashare for 2nd. Kukumashare will fight that. He's back up into 2nd. He's got his teammate right behind Mr. Bubbles here, looking for a move onto a double podium. Potentially, if he can get a pass done. However, he does not just yet. Private Gamers down the straight. Still unable to do so. It's going to change to light rain shortly. Sim Gluten currently in 5th. Greg Kaj and El Carlos both looking to overtake him. The Superman's racing drivers, however, go wide. Pilatos still running in 1st. Kukumashare closing down that gap gradually on the better tires. However, soon enough it will be back to Ender's conditions. Kukumashare the fastest lap now of the race. Greg Kaj, Sim Gluten, El Carlos. Then we've got this fight for 8th between Experio, Davy Duxas, and Gold Plays. Pilatos is really losing his gap moment by moment, but Mr. Bubbles also gained a lot on Kukumashare, and Pilatos has in fact just boosted his way away from this pack. Private Gamers getting closer to Mr. Bubbles in turn, but Pilatos looking comfortable in that race lead. Mr. Bubbles really putting the pressure on Kukumashare, but so is Private Gamers behind him. Mr. Bubbles makes the move for 2nd position. Private Gamers, will he make the move on his teammate? Yes, he does, and he's immediately tries to make a move on Mr. Bubbles. Fails to do so. Pilatos still out, so is Mr. Bubbles. Not even the wet runners are pitting just yet. The track is too dry. Mr. Bubbles with the fastest lap of the race now at 27.85 on the enters. Chasing down Pilatos as the Team Peggy Racing drivers have dropped significantly from this lead pack. The Superman's racing drivers looking to try and chase them down. Will we see the wet tire runners pit in? No, it looks like them and the entered tire runners might pit on the same lap. As things stand, Pilatos remains in the lead despite attacks from Mr. Bubbles. And they're in for dry tires, 6 laps in, and it's time for dry tire running. Hards for Pilatos, same for Mr. Bubbles, softs for Private Gamers and Kukumashare. The Team Peggy Racing drivers want to catch up to the top 2, but it's hards for Supermans, mediums for Sim Gluten and Davy Duxas and Gold Plays. Mr. Bubbles down the inside of Pilatos is through into the lead of the race. Private Gamers already quite close behind them. It's a track with very many full throttle sections, very many straights. And Private Gamers looks to be using that to his advantage. Kukumashare, however, struggling a little bit behind, not spending a token, spending no tokens, while Private Gamers is spending one. Pilatos is spending one, and Bubbles is spending two. Pilatos catching Mr. Bubbles again here, looking to launch attacks soon enough. Private Gamers and Kukumashare gradually catching up to them on the soft tires. It's 26.53. Fastest lap comes from Pilatos. On the hard tires, 26.70 from Private Gamers, 26.68 from Kukumashare. So the soft runners really going quickly as well. But Mr. Bubbles gotten away from Pilatos now. Slow lap for Pilatos it must have been. Davy Duxas with the fastest lap of the race at 26.50 now. Pilatos and Private Gamers catching back up to Mr. Bubbles. Private Gamers with the fastest lap now. It is at 26.07 from him. However, he's unable to close down on Pilatos and Mr. Bubbles just yet. Kukumashare drifting in 4th position. Bubbles retains the lead of the race. Private Gamers, will he make a move on Pilatos on the finish straight? Now on the back straight he will. Through the hairpins, however, Pilatos fights back. Into second he goes. Private Gamers retakes second position. And is now going to look to chase down Mr. Bubbles for first if he can. Mr. Bubbles and Private Gamers, I believe, both without a race win thus far. It was Xperio and Pilatos who have been our race winners thus far. Yep, that is correct. Pilatos looking to fight for a second. Xperio currently in 7th, so not the same cannot be said for him. Private Gamers holds off Pilatos, retains second position, but doesn't look to be catching Mr. Bubbles quite so much. 2 seconds off from the Dutch driver. The Metallic story pain continues on their debut season. Davy Duxas and Sim Gluten occupying 9th and 10th. The car's just not really all it's cracked up to be. I mean, if we look at the upgrades, yeah, just 1 acceleration, 2 grip, and no speed. Only souls they have is that turbo, and that is pretty much the grid average of 4. Apart from NASA Aries, who have 0. Level 0 turbo doesn't mean they don't have any turbo whatsoever. Private Gamers, the softs starting to wear now, as Pilatos remains on his end. And Bubbles is gaining more and more time on them. Pilatos down the inside, he goes on that hairpin like we've seen him do at least twice already. And he's through back into second position. Private Gamers and Kukumashare probably soon will pet. Kukumashare already caught up to by El Carlos, who makes a move round the outside, still round the outside. What a move from El Carlos, and he's up into 4th position. Private Gamers into the pits onto another set of soft tires. Will most likely take those to the end, given that at first set he took for 9 laps. He can take a set for 8. Kukumashare also pitting for the soft tires. Mr. Bubbles out in first. Will he be able to finish the race on this hard tires? I don't think so. But he is 5 seconds in front of Pilatos. Private Gamers has exited just behind Gregor Cash, and Kukumashare behind Xperio. Let's see how this 2-stopper strategy will work out for Team Piggy Racing. Especially if we'll see if the hard runners ahead will pit or not. Private Gamers down the inside on Greg Cash, rebuffs a counter move, and he's through back into 4th position. Mr. Bubbles is into the pits onto soft tires. Pilatos is into the pits now as well onto softs. El Carlos, everyone onto the softs. Let's see what that means for the Private Gamers undercut. He's back past Pilatos by a margin and Kukumasher back and forth, but Mr. Bubbles and Pilatos managed to cover that undercut to their best of their abilities. It's a 5.9 second gap between Private Gamers and Mr. Bubbles in first. Gap that looks unassailable at this moment in time. Mr. Bubbles as good as has won the race already. But it's still a great performance from Team Piggy Racing. They can hold on to second and fourth position. Pilatos remains very close to Private Gamers. He's got the better soft tires by just a lap. Will that be able to affect the race? Pilatos to the fastest lap at 25.88. Goes down the inside on the hairpin. Takes the position and he's back into second place. Kukumasher fighting with Al Carlos for fourth. El Carlos round the outside again. Can he make the move this time? No. Kukumasher remains ahead. And remains ahead again after another attack from El Carlos. El Carlos down the inside on the hairpin. Can he make the move? Yes, he can. And he's up into fourth position. 7.5 seconds now. Mr. Bubbles absolutely dominating the field. 2 laps remaining until the end of the race. And until Mr. Bubbles gets his first AV victory. Pilatos laps some gluten here. The gaps have gotten bigger and bigger as Mr. Bubbles rounds the final sector of the race. Mr. Bubbles wins the Ohio A-Prix. Pilatos will come in second place with the fastest lap. Private Gamers finishes on the podium for Team Piggy Racing. El Carlos in fourth. Kukumasher versus Greg Akash on the finish line. It will be Kukumasher just holding on to fifth. Greg Akash sixth. Experial finishes in seventh for NASA Aries. Gold Plays will finish in 8th position. And it's a tale of woe for Metalli Store in 9th and 10th for Sim Gluten and Davy Duxus. Hope to bounce back either in the next race or next season. There you have it, though. Let's hear the Dutch national anthem for Mr. Bubbles. And now the Belgian national anthem for constructors NASA Aries, who are Belgian, as is their owner Juan. There you have it for the national anthems. And we're going to move on to the final round of AV Division USA, which will determine who will advance to the playoffs, of course. In AV Division Germany earlier today, the third place team, Canis Virtuosi, have one race win to their name and 42 points, and that's what the team that finishes in third will hope to beat here in the AV Division USA. It will be the New York Apprentice at the Watkins Glen International. So we'll probably get into the Drivers and Constructors Championship in just a second. So let's have a look then at the standings before we start the final round of AV Division USA in order to determine who advances to the playoffs. For now, it is Pilatos who leads the Drivers' Championship with one win and one second place finish, and a total of 27 points leaves him 4 points ahead of Experio, the next driver, which might give him a good chance here of taking the driver's title. As for the constructors, it's NASA Aries currently with 45 points and 2 race wins in first, followed by Shock Motorsports just 3 points off. Those two teams look most likely to advance directly to the playoffs, and it's currently Team Peggy Racing 8 points ahead of Supermans, who are in third place. However, only at 35, they will have to win a race as well. The team that finishes third will have to win a race in order to tie break Canis Virtuosi. Even if they gain more points without winning a race, it will be Canis Virtuosi who wins the tie break. So it's race wins first off, then points. With that being said, let's get straight into qualifying. Here we are, and let's take a look at the tokens while we're at it. It is 2 tokens from Private Gamers, 2 from Gregacage, 2 from Gold Blaze, and 2 from Experio. 1 token each from Cucumacher, El Carlos 13XD, Sim Gluten, and Pilatos, Davy Duxus, and Mr. Bubbles, the only drivers not spending any tokens today. And it's Gregacage off of this early lead. The Team Peggy Racing drivers once again looking quite good as a team. So are Shock Motorsport. And here we go, first flying lap. Let's see how the drivers will do. It's Greg Cash, followed by the 2 Team Peggy drivers, then the 2 Shock drivers. NASA Aries not looking too great on this track. And it is Greg Cash on provisional pole, Cucumacher in second, Private Gamers is in fourth, Gold Blaze is in third, Pilatos only down in sixth. It's looking like a relatively close affair, except for the 2 Metallic Stories, Experio and El Carlos, who are not performing quite well right now. Experio spending 2 tokens, not driving quite well at all here. Private Gamers improves to a sub 28 lap time, but it's not enough to dissuade Greg Cash from that pole position spot for now. Can he improve on it? No, he cannot. Cucumacher improves, so does Pilatos onto provisional pole. He's had pole twice already and fastest lap in each race that he got pole, and he's currently once again on provisional pole, but Cucumacher is the one going fast now. Look how far he's gotten past Gregacage. It's looking like a banger of a lap for Cucumacher. It will be 27.10 What a lap from Kukumashare. Gold Place improves up to the front row. It is a very, very close affair. El Carlos up to 6. It is the NASA Aries and the Metalli Stories occupying the final four spots on the grid. Final 2 rows of the grid at the current moment. Kukumashare looks set to make a pole position for Team Piggy Racing. However, there's still one more lap to be ran. Private Gamers improves up to 2nd, but Gold Plays beats him to it with another improvement to 27.53. He's still in this. Kukumashare is so far ahead. Will we see another improvement from him, or is it just all from that 27.10 lap time? An incredible lap time, still 4 tenths and over ahead of anyone else. He does not improve. Gregor, no improvements there. It will be Kukumashare on pole position. Xperio improves up to 6th. Let's take a look at the full qualifying results. Here they are with tokens in for reference. Kukumashare will start from pole position for Team Piggy Racing. Gold Place starts from 2nd, then Private Gamers. Then Pilatos, considering the constructors standing, this looks to be a very close affair between these two teams. And NASA Aries, well, they will be a bit concerned about these qualifying results if they continue into the race. That is, Greg Cash starts from 5th, Xperio from 6th, El Carlos from 7th, Mr. Bubbles from 8th, Sim Gluten from 9th, and Davy Duxes will start from the final spot on the grid. 21 laps ahead of us. Let's get ready for the New York April. Here we go. Here we go, Kukumashare starting in the softs, so is Private Gamers and Pilatos, but Gold Place has an incredible launch on those hard tires, and he's through into the lead of the race. Kukumashare, Private Gamers, double podium for now for Team Piggy Racing. Pilatos in 4th. Then we've got this separate pack of the Supermans Racing and NASA Aries drivers. Greg Cash has detached himself just now, and he's up into the pack for 3rd place at least. Gold Place still in the race lead. Kukumashare really putting the pressure on him. Pilatos has caught up to them as well. Kukumashare with an incredible overtake right before the chicane. Pilatos hits the grass on the exit of that chicane, drops back a bit further. Kukumashare's back into the race lead. Private Gamers looking for a move on Pilatos. Can he make it go? It's gonna be heavy rain, and drivers are into the pits. There they go. 4 wet weather tires. No risking it in those conditions. Kukumashare first out, followed by Gold Place, Pilatos, Private Gamers, Greg Cash in 5th, then Xperio, El Carlos, Mr. Bubbles, Davy Duxes, and Sim Gluten. The question is, will NASA Aries' points tally be enough to keep them in the top 2? However, considering they already have 2 race wins to account, they will beat Canis Virtuosi in best 3rd place ranking if it comes to that. So they actually do not have much to worry about. What has happened to Private Gamers, however? That's a question that I've completely missed the answer to, because he is down in 7th, up into 6th now. Him and Pilatos have dropped a fair bit here, and it's still Kukumashare and Gold Place for the race win. Greg Cash up to 3rd, Xperio up to 4th. Private Gamers and Pilatos struggling here to gain time. Pilatos right on the back of Xperio as the track is now fully wet. The wets are in play. Pilatos has lost the back of Xperio. Kukumashare running quite solidly in the race lead. Gold Place in 2nd, Greg Cash in 3rd, and Xperio in 4th as it stands. The biggest gap is to the Metallic Story drivers that are fighting each other. That's certainly not helping them. And we're only 6 laps into this race, in fact. 7th lap just started. Greg Kaj was overtaken by Experial earlier, is now back in 3rd position. Goes a bit wide there, but retains the position. Experial really putting pressure on him. Greg Kaj remains in 3rd place. Kukumashir really looking for Team Piggy Racing's first race victory. Gold plays looking for one for himself as well. So is Greg Cash. Experial, the only one here who has already won a race in this top 4 pack. Pilatos and the pack for 5th place really lost the lead pack through the heavy rain. El Carlos really forcing himself past into 5th position. Private cameras close behind them. Greg Cash getting real close to gold plays now. Light rain coming soon, so the rain is not going away just yet. It was clouds, but track is about a third wet. And that will be more now with the light rain incoming. Greg Cash really looking for that P2 spot. Round the outside of gold plays, can he do it? Yes, he can. He's up into 2nd. Kukumashir not too far ahead. Greg Cash has been driving brilliantly through the wet weather. El Carlos in 6th. It might be a great team performance from them if they can pull it off. However, Greg Cash loses 2nd once again to gold plays. Those 3 really close together. Experial has lost the back of them for now, but don't count them out just yet. Gold plays really trying to close in on Kukumashir. Is able to retain that gap of about half a second. Deploying the boost, and look at that, and he's passed him for 1st. Gold plays with an incredible move there. As sun is announced and the track is getting dry, we'll soon return to dry conditions and normal tire running, and we'll see how that changes things here. But for now, gold plays retained 1st from Kukumashir, who's still holding on very close to him, looking for a counter move into the same spot, and he does it. Kukumashir, oh my, he's boosted his way so far, 2 seconds far from cold plays. Brutal takedown there, as some drivers are already into the pits onto soft tires. Soft tires look to be able to last until the end of the race, so everyone should probably be pitting for soft tires off the wets. Kukumashir's into the pits now, 2.3 seconds ahead of gold plays when entering. What a boost deployment that was. Greg Cash Experial coming out of the pits. They're ahead of gold plays with that undercut. They're still behind Kukumashir, and he's got the fresher, softer tires. Experial using his boost up into 2nd now, looking to try and fight Kukumashir for that number 1 spot. Goes down the inside, unable to make a proper move. Kukumashir is still in the lead. Experial boosting his way through the straight. Kukumashir retains 1st through this fast 1st sector. Experial through the chicane. There he goes into first place. What a fight for the race winning we have here. Greg Akash, the only one of those four that hasn't yet been in the first position, I believe. Unless he has. Kukumasher keeping on the back of Expiro here, looking to recompensate him with a move of his own, but Expiro is really running away now in the dry weather. Gregakash on the back of Kukumasher, looking for a move round the outside, and now on the inside of this hairpin, and he's through into second, and this race has just completely transformed once again. Kukumasher looking for a counter move as they keep fighting each other. Expiro has the perfect conditions to run away, but Gregakash deploys his boost. However, now Kukumasher deploys some of his boost. They're back together. Kukumasher deploying more boost. Gold plays catching up to them. Kukumasher using all the boost he has to try and catch as much to Expiro as he can. He's past Gregakash and Gold plays for now. Expiro is still not too far away from them, but if they keep on fighting, that might very soon change. It is already lap 19, less than 3 laps to the end. We're gonna have light rain coming in. Will the drivers pit off the soft tires is a good question. Will they pit for enters for just the final 2 laps of the race? We got wets from Private Gamers and Al Carlos fighting for 6th. Expiro is into the pits. Kukumasher, nobody wanting to rescue everyone onto the wet tires, and it is going to be heavy rain soon. Kukumasher and Gold Plays did incredibly in the rain last time around compared to Gregakash and Expiro, and we see Gold Plays getting past Kukumasher for second here. However, they've got the lapped car of Davy Duxas to get past before they can mount a challenge against Expiro, if they even have the time to do so, because Expiro is looking very likely to get his third race win for his team and his second of 4 races. Davy Duxas unlaps himself. Gold Plays deploys his boost. Kukumasher also deploys some boost. They're just too far away. They're not close enough to Expiro to attack. Gold Plays down the inside of Davy Duxas, is getting closer and closer to Expiro. He's right on the back of him now. Is that enough for him? He's right on the back, but it's not enough. Expiro boosting his way forward wins the New York A Prix. Gold Plays in second. Kukumasher in third. Gregakash in fourth. What a fight that was all the way throughout. Pilatos finishing in 5th for Shock. El Carlos in 6th for Supermans, and we will really have to find out what the constructors looks like after this. Private Gamers in 7th. Mr. Bubbles in 8th. Of Team Peggy Racing finished 3rd. They are in big trouble. 9th for Sim Gluten and 10th for Davy Duxas. But first, let's hear the national anthems. Of course, first off, the Finnish national anthem for Expiro as he wins a second AV race. And now the Belgian national anthem for the constructors, NASA Aries, who out of nowhere take a 3rd race victory out of 4 races ran, and a 3rd in a row, I believe. Congratulations to them, and we'll be right back with the drivers and constructors standings to determine who advances to the playoffs. And it is Pilatos who wins the AV Division USA. Oh, sorry, wrong image. There we go. It is Pilatos who is the champion. 34 points, just one ahead of Experio, despite Experio winning 2 races. Pilatos still beat him out on average position. And also 3 points from fastest laps, 2 points from poles. Really helped Pilatos out, actually. That probably was the result. So let's hear the Brazilian national anthem. Congratulations to Pilatos for being the champion of the regular season USA division. Congratulations to him. As for the constructors, on countback, NASA Aries beat Shock Motorsports thanks to 3 race wins over 1, but both end up on 58 points and both will be advancing to the playoffs alongside Natural Racing and I think it was Amwar Racing from the other division. So let's hear once again today. Once again, I think this is the 3rd time, in fact, the Belgian national anthem. Congratulations to them. However, Team Peggy Racing winless And although they have beaten Canis Virtuosi by 6 points, the tiebreak rules state that Canis Virtuosi will advance to the playoffs, having won a race, and the race wins being the first step in the tiebreak, followed by points for AV playoffs. So the 5 teams in the playoffs will be Natural Racing, Amora Racing Team, Canis Virtuosi, NASA Aries, and Shock Motorsports SRT. Good luck to the other 5 next season, and we'll see the main 5 with Skip for AV playoffs, which will take place on British circuits. And see you then, and goodbye.